Are you on a tight budget looking for a diagnostic tool for your car? It has to be cheap and it has to be good. Well, this is from Motopower, and right after this we will see how cheap and how good this actually is. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Marcus and this is Tech and Cars. As you saw in the intro, we're going to take a look at a diagnostic tool from Motopower. And how cheap is this? Well, it's actually on sale right now on Amazon for around 50 euros. It has been up to 65-70 euros, but currently it's 50 euros. And we're going to see if it's worth 50 euros. In the second half of the video, we're going to try this on the Saab old generation 9.5. But first, let's do a quick unboxing. So here's the box. Motopower MP69039. Car diagnostic tool for all OBD2 compliant vehicles. Engine check, graphic view, data print, 10 languages, data review, upgrade. Kind of looks nice. Let's look inside the box. Okay, so it comes in a plastic bag inside. Let's remove this. And there is a manual as well. Let's get rid of the box. And here's the instrument. Cable is maybe, I don't know, almost a meter. Kind of short, but I didn't expect any really long cable on this one. And there's a manual as well. The manual is quite nice. Font size is okay, easy to read. It's in English and it's in... yeah, so it's only in English. Keep that in mind. That's, however, not a problem. In the manual it says some safety precautions, and we have the reader, the explanation of the reader, the buttons, the cable, etc., the LED indicators. So we have left, right, up, down, enter, DTC, inspection maintenance button, and then a exit button. And on the top, just below the display, you have those LED indicators. Also an explanation about the OBD outlet or the connector, which pin is what. Kind of interesting, serious stuff here. And we have some explanations regarding how to connect this to the car. I think you already know that. It's supposed to go to the OBD connector, and in the manual you have a few examples of where to find the OBD connector. You can do a DTC lookup, as it says here in the manual. You can enter the code and you get an explanation of what the code is. I can imagine that it will not take every code, but we'll see. Maybe I can enter some random codes later on. And as you all know, you connect this to the car. You can have the ignition off or you can have the ignition running. Depends on what you want to do. Some easy explanations here in the manual. How to read codes, how to erase codes. You cannot erase, I suspect that you cannot erase airbag codes and stuff like that. Just plain and simple engine codes and things related to that. And you have freeze frame data. So what it says here is that the computer detects a fault and you can store and freeze the frame data related to the issue at that moment, which can be pretty interesting. Here we have an example in the manual. Inspection maintenance, that's for checking emissions and stuff. Not sure if this is available on all vehicles. We will try it in the old generation 9.5 and see what the instrument says. So inspection maintenance monitors misfire, fuel system, catalyst, etc., etc. Oxygen and so on. You can also identify the VIN. It can read the VIN, but I suspect that it can't detect which type of brand and model it is based on the VIN. real-time data, which can be interesting to look at the parameters in different situations, maybe while you're out driving. A fault may not be there all the time. And you can do this lookup that I talked about earlier using the DTC lib function. So you enter the code and you get an explanation. You can see the voltage of the battery when running this, which can be interesting in some cases. And of course, you have the possibility on this one to update the firmware and also print some of the stuff you have collected during your diagnose. The software, however, is not really up to date. It's a real simple software, so don't expect any super advanced graphical user interface. So it's just a basic software, but you couldn't really expect that for this price. You have a frequently asked questions page and you have some specs here as well. So let's look at the instrument. We have it here and we can see that it's kind of rugged on the sides and feels nice. I mean, it's not huge, it's not chunky in any way. It's almost perfect when it comes to how to hold this. I mean, there are some instruments, but they're not really comfortable when doing diagnosing, but this feels quite good actually. And we have the rubber buttons here. And to update the software, you have this on the bottom side, of course, the USB-C. So you take a USB-C cable and use the software that I just showed you in the manual. I will put a link to the download for the software and also for the instrument on Amazon, of course, in the description section below. So let's not waste any more time inside. Let's head out to the Saab old generation 9.5 and try this in real life. Here we are in the Saab old generation 9.5. I have the engine running. I have connected the instrument. The instrument has a really short boot up time because there is no real complex operating system running in the instrument. Kör vi igen. So. Here we are in the Saab old generation 9.5. I have the engine running and the instrument is on. The boot up time is really short because it do not have a complex operating system. So we get right into the main menu with OBD, eOBD, data stream, DTC lib, review, voltage and setup. So before we do anything more, let's go to the setup and see what we can do. We can change the language, unit of measure if it's metric or imperial, contrast of the screen, beeps. They're currently off, so that's great. Otherwise this would have beeped every time I press a button. Color scheme, this is the light color. We can also choose dark mode, which is really cool. Let's go back to light, and then there is about. About is showing the software version, and you can actually upgrade the instrument through a software that you can download from Motopower's web page. Let's go back, or yeah, we can check the language page. German, Dutch, English, Espanol, French, Italian, and some other Asian languages, Portuguese as well. Let's go back to the main menu and take a look at the voltage, because the car is running, the engine is on, and currently we have a battery voltage of 2.8, 2.9 volts. Let's go to the DTC lib page and see what we can do there. We can try a P0008 and see what we get from the instrument. Engine position, system performance, bank 1. a generic explanation of the code. On the NG95, this is often related to the timing chains. Let's go into the OBD and see what we can do. So the instrument is scanning with different protocols and picking the one that works. We have no codes found, and now we're into another menu with read DTC, but there are no codes. We can also clear the DTC. Are you sure? Yes. I guess we need to pick yes. There we go. Erase done. But there was nothing to erase. And then we have freeze, which is actually a really useful thing when you're diagnosing the car and you have an issue, and when the check engine light turns on, you can actually freeze data and see what happened at that time, and that's really helpful. Then we have inspection maintenance. Let's see what we can do. There is nothing here since DTC is cleared. We have a list of parameters. It says off on some of them and it says OK on others. Misfire monitor, fuel system monitor, oxygen sensor, EGR, etc. This drive cycle, let's pick that one and see what happens. There is nothing applicable here. Vehicle info, that just shows you the VIN number of the car, and I have to turn off the ignition for doing that, but basically it's no point. It just shows you the VIN number of the car if possible. Then we have live data, a data stream. View the data, we can see a list of parameters that you can review if you have any issues related to this. I guess it's spark fuel related, air pressure maybe. Custom data set. There we can select from these parameters if we only want to use or view RPM, for example. Let's see if we can check the RPM box. No. Right arrow to select, not enter. Enter is exiting. So here we have the data stream for the RPM. It's varying around 810, 850 something. AC is running as well. Then we have some other icons here. Mode 6, not really sure what that is. Onboard monitor, we have exhaust gas sensor monitor, bank 1, sensor 1. Really not sure if that's available on this particular car, the old generation 95 B235R engine. Let's see if we can view the catalyst monitor bank 1. Failed. Okay. So I guess you need another tool for that. Maybe the Tech 2 is still the best. O2 sensor. Test. There is a test value and min max limit. Status says OK. That was the rich lean threshold for O2 bank 1 sensor 1. And then you also have the same for sensor 2. Mode 8. Evaporative system leak test. Failed. So that's nothing we can do. Yeah, so that's the icons we have once we get into the diagnostic menu from this. Then you have the data stream icon. This is probably the same option we got when I was in the special OBD menu. Yeah, view the data and custom set data. And review is, I guess, for reviewing DTCs if you have any, or yeah, the data stream again. And the DTCs can also be translated or sent through a USB cable. When connecting this to the computer, you can get the DTC information onto this simple software that I have mentioned. Just a basic list of actually what happened in the car and what DTCs you have. Nothing fancy at all. So that's a short overview of the instrument. We don't get to any other menu in this one. So let's turn off the car and wrap up the video. So now you know what the Motopower 69039 is like in the Saab old generation 9.5. There is not much that differentiates this from other cheap tools in the market, I think. However, I like the form factor, large rubber buttons, and the display is quite nice. It was very easy to see the display. And there is a dark mode, as you saw previously. So is it worth 70 euros? I'm not sure. Is it worth 50? Maybe. It's a good tool. There is nothing special about it, but as I said, form factor is nice and the display is nice. Have you seen this tool, or have you used it in another car brand or a model? Please do share that in the comment section, because I'm curious if there are other brands and models that this works really well on. The Saab is a GM vehicle and it's quite specific in a certain way. I mean, obviously you need the tech to do a lot of stuff. But I do believe if I have had any error codes, they would have shown up here, at least engine, maybe transmission, airbag, etc. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and drive safe.